What's up, everyone? This is me, Dre. Now, the other day, there was the BET Award, and Jesse Williams won an award to which he gave a very powerful speech. What I want to talk about is the outrage by white people over what he said. And for those who are on my subscription list, this isn't towards all white people. I'm not going to make any apologies for what I'm about to say. If you're delicate of skin, then this is not going to be the video for you. But Jesse Williams, he touched upon a lot of things, such as the killing of Tamir Rice and how there's still injustice in Hollywood as well as in America, which is clearly evident. He didn't say anything that we don't already know. Cognitive dissonance. Basically, those who refuse to accept that fact, even though it's presented in front of them, the outrage comes from white people, not all, but white people who disagree with his message. Now, I made a video on Facebook speaking truth about certain things. Jesse Williams is endeared by white people. They love a light-skinned brother with his light-colored eyes. We all know he's biracial. His mother's white, his father's black. But he's on Grey's Anatomy, has been on for a couple of seasons. So white people love him. When I made my video on Facebook some time back, what I said is, and this is in reference to Allen West. He's a Republican who's always talking shit about Obama. And it's amazing how white people say he should have been the first black president. And I made a comment basically calling Allen West a house nigger, because he is. I mean, he's quick to put down Obama, but when you look at previous sitting presidents from the Republican Party who've done some shitty things, he has nothing to say, which is typical. And this isn't a political talk, but it's kind of ties into the conversation with this video. I basically said Allen West is a house nigger. And someone said, well, I'm sick and tired of all the racism, and why can't you just congratulate him? To which I responded, anytime a black person does something that wins the approval of white people, the moment that the black person says something that doesn't coincide with their way of thinking, all of a sudden, he's now a nigger. That mindset is always there, but white people feel like black people aren't allowed to speak the truth, black truth. White people get very uncomfortable, and then they become very defensive, and that's when nigger and thug and all these other things and traitor, that's when this all happens. And right now, the outrage is Jesse Williams. People are petitioning for him to be kicked off of ABC's Grey's Anatomy. I haven't kept up to date to see the status of that, but it's true. And again, white people don't like hearing black people talk about their truth, because white people are so ingrained with the history that they scripted and wrote, which is not the entire history, the entire truth. So when black people tell their account of history, white people get very uncomfortable, and then there's a backlash that ensues. So you have these idiots such as Tommy Loren. I've already been on this bitch's ass. She made a response video and had the audacity to say, well, do you realize how many white people fought the Civil War to free your people? First and foremost, the institution of slavery, white people fought against white people because some white people wanted to hold on to slavery and some white people wanted to abolish it. Some white people wanted to hold on to the principles of good old Dixie South, and they wanted to secede from the Union. And some white people from the Union says, get your ass back. So white people killing white people over a clash of principle. And black people fought in that Civil War as well. But if you really think about it, there wouldn't have had to have been a civil war if white people didn't institute slavery against Africans. That's a truth that many white people don't want to look in the mirror and acknowledge. But for her to say that, it's almost easy for white people to say, well, black people need to forget about slavery, but then they'll turn around and say, Well, don't you realize white people fought for your freedom? To which I say, kiss my black ass. But anyhow, the outrage of white people when it comes to Jesse Williams' speech, when all he did was speak the truth, he wasn't attacking white people. He was attacking the institution of racism. And we all know that the predominance in America is by white people. All of a sudden, people have a problem. But no one has a problem with that one guy in Tennessee or wherever who put up the billboard that said, "Make America white again." They don't have a problem with the disparaging comments that Donald Trump made against people from south of the border. So that shows the mindset. And also when you think about it, with Donald Trump being the front runner for the Republican Party, that lets you know how racist some people are. You see this Vanilla Ice want to be screaming to Mexicans about going back and how much he loves America and telling Mexicans to go fix his tortillas and stuff like that. White people, they want to ignore that, but they want to be angry about a black guy speaking about the institution of racism with Hollywood because it's there. And if you really paid attention to Jesse Williams' speech, from the very beginning, he gave recognition to his white mother and his black father. He gave recognition to them because he said that it's important to recognize self over your career. So it's not like Jesse Williams is out making a ton of movies and begging Hollywood for money. He's on that one TV show, and people being surprised when Jesse Williams has been dropping these gems for years. You see random YouTube videos and Facebook and Twitter videos where he's talking about the same thing. But again, anytime a black person speaks the truth from their own perspective, white people get very, very deflective and dismissive. So white people, stop being mad about shit that you caused in some sense. Not all white people, but Tamir Rice being killed, that didn't have to happen. I just saw a recent video where a guy in Avon, Ohio, someone from the United Arab Emirates, he was visiting because he was getting medical treatment. And he was standing in front of a hotel speaking Arabic on a cell phone. And someone called, you hear the 911 call, to where they said he's pledging his allegiance to ISIS. If he's speaking Arabic and you don't understand Arabic, how the fuck do you know he was pledging allegiance to ISIS? A scary-ass white person called 911. 911 rushed on the scene, weapons drawn, had this man down. And after he was free, when they felt that there were no bombs, there was no imminent threat from the shock and the stress, this guy passed out. He's okay, but this shit should not have happened. But all of a sudden, no one in the white community is upset about the shit that Donald Trump is saying. They want him to be America's leader. So that just lets you know how fucked up things are. I just wanted to give my take on this because selective outrage, that's what it is. Anyway, if you like this video, hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.